Way back in the before times, 1974 to be exact, a film came out called The Groove Tube. This was really just a collection of skits. They were parodies of TV commercials, TV shows, movies, really based all on pop culture. And it had a sprinkling of drug humor and some partial nudity and was R-rated. So for somebody like me at the time, who was in high school in 1974, this was revolutionary. This was totally hilarious. And this was just for me and young people, not for our parents. They wouldn't get this. So 1 year later, Saturday Night Live came out on TV. And then a year after that, the great SCTV was on TV, and those had similar sensibilities, similar formats, but of course they couldn't do any R-rated humor. Two other films came out, sort of like The Groove Tube, and that's what I want to talk about today. This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. This is my closet full of all the stuff that I love, and today, two other films that are a collection of skits, one from the 70s, one from the 80s. But are they still funny today? Let's check it out. So we're still in the 70s here. In 1977, we have the Kentucky Fried Movie. It's in color. It's about 85 minutes long. The director is John Landis, who directed a low-budget film called Schlock, I really like, and then went on to great success with National Lampoon's Animal House and The Blues Brothers and Into the Night, among others. And the writers were the same writers behind films such as Airplane and the Police Squad TV series, and then that spin-off, the Naked Gun film series. The plot, well, there's not much of a plot really. It's a collection of different skits, some shorter, some longer than others, and they're parodies of commercials, of porno films, of black exploitation films. The centerpiece is a parody of Enter the Dragon called A Fistful of Yen. And that's definitely the high point of the film. Some people with Asian backgrounds might find it a little bit offensive. But one good thing about this film also is there's so many skits coming that it's unpredictable. So if one skit's not working too well, maybe the next two will land better. So it is a little hit and miss. It can be a little sophomoric because there's some shock value involved, because nobody saw these kind of R-rated comedy skits before. So they're using language you haven't heard before and some partial nudity in these comedy bits. And so the shock value today is not very shocking. So it's a little bit dated. And also this film has been pretty much imitated in other series at this point. So this is a Shout Factory disc. It has a commentary with John Landis and the writers. And then there's a special feature that's good. It's the writers talking about their careers, how they got started doing Airplane and the Naked Gun series, etc. Where can you see this? Well, you can always rent it. You can always buy it. I think it might be on Amazon Prime right now, and you might even try your local library. 10 years later, a similar film came out, Amazon Women on the Moon. This is from 1987. It's in color and black and white. I'll get to that in a second. It's 85 minutes long. You know, these films can't be too long because you're going to lose interest. It's going to be too much after a while. There were several directors on here, including John Landis from the previous film, and then also Joe Dante, who directed Gremlins and Explorers and Piranha and The Burbs. You know, all these guys making these films are all film nerds, and you can tell from what they're showing, the parodies they're showing in these films. This time the plot is a little bit more, it's kind of a framing device. It's about a TV station that is showing a really crappy 1950s science fiction low budget film, and then the commercials keep coming in and different things keep interrupting the film, and it keeps going back to the film periodically throughout this movie. So the high points are the parodies are spot on. And some spoilers here in case you want to be surprised. You might want to fast forward a little bit. The Amazon Women on the Moon is the main parody. That's a 1950s style, low budget science fiction film. They get it all right though, even with the film skipping and even burning at one point. They get the look of it right, the costumes, the dialogue, everything is perfect. There's also something called Reckless Youth. And this is shot in black and white, and it's very scratchy and out of focus. And this is one of those films they used to show to kids to warn them about getting VD. And it's really hilarious. There's another one called The Invisible Man, and that's shot in black and white also. Looks like The Invisible Man. It stars Ed Begley Jr., except the gimmick is he's not invisible, but he thinks he is, so he's acting invisible. And everybody's just kind of rolling their eyes and putting up with him. That's really funny too. So the parodies are really the high point of this film. And also another high point are the cameos. A lot of people in here, ranging from Henry Silva, the great character actor you've seen in many gangster films and in many westerns. Rosanna Arquette, Steve Guttenberg. There's a roast. Somebody dies in the film, and there's a roast, like a Friars Club roast, but it's his funeral. And you have all these classic comedians. Now, if you're a comedy nerd like me, you remember who Jackie Vernon is, and who Charlie Callis was, and who Rip Taylor was. They're all in this, and one of my favorites of all time, Steve Allen, is the host of that roast. The low points, just similar to the other film, Kentucky Fried Movie. It's hit and miss. Some of it's kind of falls flat. And some of it is dated, and the shock value just isn't there anymore. What's on this disc? This is a Kino disc. This is a really good special edition because not only does it have an audio commentary, it has a really nice half-hour feature called The True Story of Amazon Women on the Moon, interviewing all the people involved with this, mainly the directors and a couple of the writers. And then it also has the extended roast with all the comedians roasting this guy who died, but their entire bits, because they're kind of cut short in the film, so you see the entire comedy bits here. And that's really good. There's some outtakes, there's some bloopers, a lot of stuff on here. The writers, by the way, at the time were the head writers for Johnny Carson's Tonight Show. Kind of interesting. So where can you see Amazon Women on the Moon? I haven't seen it streaming anywhere. You can always rent it or buy it or check your local library. So are both these films still funny? I think they are, mainly because there's funny people involved. There's one skit in Amazon Women with Arsenio Hall, and basically the idea was this guy's apartment is trying to kill him, and it's very funny. He's very funny, and he was a stand-up comedian at the time. And other people in here are very funny, especially those comedians in that roast section in Amazon Women on the Moon. Of course, this is a nostalgia thing for me, and it's also kind of a time capsule of where comedy was at in the 70s and the 80s. The film parodies in both of these are still the strong point. So if you're a big film fan, I think you're going to like these. Of course, some of it does fall flat, but you know, in a couple of minutes, there's another one coming along. I also showed the Kentucky Fried Movie to Kazdoy Closet Jr., who's in his early 20s. He thought it was funny, especially the Fistful of Yen Kung Fu parody, so I guess some of it is still timeless. So for both these films, I'm going to give 3.5 film projectors out of 5. Hope you like this video. Feel free to leave a comment or a suggestion down here. Feel free to leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. Otherwise, thanks for watching. See you next time.